Jevon with Pickard USA. Today I'm going to show you how to install a 23-inch bolt-on bagger trees on this Harley Road Glide. We're going to start by installing the clip onto the neck stem. The neck stem goes through the top of the upper tree. Use a shop press to press it in, never use a hammer. Press the neck stem all the way down until the clip touches the surface of the tree. That's when you'll know when to stop. Install the 5/16 set screw and the 2 3/8 turn stoss, being sure to use a little bit of blue loctite. Remove your stock handlebar bushings and slide them into the top tree. To mount the risers, use the black button head bolts that are supplied in the kit. Be sure to reuse your stock bushing plates. Reuse your stock metal dust shield and bearing on the upper tree. Be sure to repack your bearing before sliding it on the stem. Grease the race before sliding the tree into the neck. Grease the lower race before installing the lower bearing and the rubber dust shield. The next two pieces you'll need are the lower tree and the neck stem cap. Our 1-inch front lowering kit is optional for the 23-inch bolt-on bagger trees, but is highly recommended for the best ride. The Pickard lowering kit comes with a set of shorter mainsprings, longer dampener rod springs, extended fork stops, and preload spacers. Remove the lower bolt so we can drain the fork oil. Remove the clip so we can separate the fork leg from the tubes. Separate the two pieces and remove the stock fork stop. We're going to remove the stock fork cap, but be careful because it is under pressure from the spring. Remove the mainspring and the dampener rod from the fork tube. Do not assume that you have a stock length Harley dampener rod. If it doesn't measure 7 1/4 inches, it won't work with our kit. Once you've verified you have a stock length dampener rod, slide on the Pickard spring and drop it in the tube. Install a new fork seal and drop in the dampener valve. Make sure the spring side is up. When you're installing the Pickard mainspring, be sure the tighter bound coils are facing down. Install the extended fork stop onto the dampener rod and slide the assembly into the fork leg. Using the supplied bolt and crush washer, tighten the fork leg to the tube. Seat the fork seal to the leg, then install the fork clip. Using a fork compression tool, sandwich the preload spacers between two washers on top of the mainspring and screw it into the top. Fill the forks with 11 ounces of 30 weight fork oil. Repeat the same process on the other leg. Mount the fork cans to the lower trees using the supplied bolts. Make sure you use a dab of blue loctite. Slide the fork leg through the triple trees and tighten it with the top cap. Install the ignition to the upper tree before mounting your handlebars. Mount the handlebars to your risers. Install the wheel to the front end and slide in your axle. Once you've tightened your axle, mount both your calipers and tighten them to spec. The set the front end plank, we're going to start by checking for vertical slop by pulling up and down on the front axle. Tighten the next end cap until all the vertical slop is gone. Once you've taken the vertical slop out of the front end, you can check your left and right swing. The wheel should come to the center on its own. Setting the end play is critical to the bike's handling. If the wheel falls too far past the center, it's too loose and needs to be tightened. If it doesn't come to center on its own, it's too tight and needs to be loosened. Once you've set your front end play, lock it in with the 2 set screws on each side of the triple tree. Be sure to alternate between the front and back when tightening so you don't jam up the next end. Use the 4 3/8 bolts in the kit to tighten the pinch clamps on the lower triple tree. Be sure to use a dab of blue Loctite. If you have any questions about our 23-inch bolt-on bagger trees, give us a call. Be sure to ask about our complete front end packages.